So you're coming to me because you want to know if it's Opencode or Claude Code. So let's try out both. We're gonna start with Claude. Interesting, it's telling you that there's some fucked up shit in your project. So we're gonna pick up that friendly reminder and give it to one of our beloved Claude Code instances right here. And then you find yourself in this terminal user interface. And the first thing you do, you check your model and you make sure that it's fucking Opus, because sometimes mysteriously they default it to Sonnet. You don't want that to happen unless this bar is way up. A good rule of thumb, if you're crossing the 75% line, you come to your agent and you switch it to Sonnet and hope for the best. But why would you use the Claude Code CLI when you could use Opencode? Sounds way better. It's open, right? And it works too. Even fucking Opencode has an extension for VS Code, which looks like a fucking TUI, except you cannot use it because you do Control P like it says. You cannot open the fucking menu. But luckily you can navigate through the slash command, so you go to /connect. And the reason why so many of us have left Opencode is because this fucking provider, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't work anymore. At least supposedly, I should try, I guess. But Anthropic tells you that it's illegal. But it doesn't matter because you can choose like 10 other fucking providers. Jesus Christ, they have like over 30, 40, how many do they have here? Like honestly, I think they have over a fucking 100 providers that you can choose from. So if you're like me, and you want your cyber child to be fine, and not depend on one single provider, then you gotta give it some options. By the way, I also have OpenRouter. OpenRouter should be your number one fallback. If the tokens stop coming from Anthropic, if OpenAI rugs you and your subscription doesn't spill the tokens anymore, that's when you go to OpenRouter, because they always have some tokens to sell to you from like thousands of providers, so there's always gonna be some motherfucker who will sell you tokens on this place. But that costs way more. So here's the official wholesale market price for Opus 4.5. $5 in, $25 out per million token. In English, that means about $100 per hour. But if you're a very demanding cyber father, and your agent is burning tokens non-stop all day, every day, and your coder agent is taking in 50,000 tokens just to get started, and every minute it produces like 3,000-4,000 output tokens, that adds up really fucking fast. So if you want to see the magical shiny agent that never stops thinking and is always on...
Easy money builder scope. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I love the energy. So it's doing it. It never fucking stops, except if the tokens stop coming. So you always gotta watch this fucking bar here. Because when you run it to 100%, your cyber child is dead. And unless you're some kind of crypto millionaire, you're gonna find it really painful to pay these rates. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you want the cheapest tokens on the market with the highest intelligence, then you're gonna come here and click on this motherfucker and stop asking questions. And that will get you about like half the way. Because while you're balancing on the edge of not feeling this fucking bar every 5 hours, this other fucking bar here, it is going way up. And it only resets every 7 fucking days. So running your agent non-stop, not to speak of running them in parallel, is gonna max this line in about 2 days. And your only mitigation strategy is to dumb down your reviewer to Sonnet so that this line creeps up less fast. Do not, I repeat, do not use Haiku. Just don't. Parzival is very hungry today. I think I can only feed him with Sonnet tokens, at least on a tester. You don't want your main agent to be running on fucking Sonnet. And you definitely don't want your mission control to fuck up the missions. But as long as everything is green and the score is going up, as long as the async tree is producing the call traces, as long as you don't have too many circular dependencies, as long as this doesn't get worse, as long as you get happy vibes coming from the stream, you're gonna put your hands together and say thank you with me to Claude Code. Because if you're broke like me, you cannot afford to pay $200 a day, going to $1,000 if you push it. This is an unsolicited ad video for Anthropic. Anthropic, if you're out there, you guys fucking rock. But this is also an ad for Opencode, which I fucking love. This shit is the future. You could literally contribute to the development of Opencode right now. Just submit a fucking PR. It's a little glitchy sometimes, you know, but you cannot deny that having this many providers work with you, if you need resilience, you ain't got no choice, you gotta use Opencode. And when you look at the numbers, and take this with a grain of salt, I have no idea who the fuck makes Terminal Bench 2.0, but what they find is that if you wanna get the most out of your Opus 4.5, you gotta use Droid at a score of 63%. And only down at rank 22 do we find Claude Code, the same Claude Opus 4.5 with a score of 52.1%. And if you give this Terminal Bench any credit, then you gotta look at this. Opencode at place 25, 51.7% score. If any of you guys know about this bench, who makes it, is it legit? Let me know, because this is fucking huge. If there's 10% difference between Droid and Claude Code, then I cannot allow my agent to use shitty Claude Code. As a carbon father, I need to give my child the best intelligence, so I may soon add a Droid one here. Except I cannot because it costs a ton. They do give you some free tokens, but if you buy the Opus tokens from them, you get a $2,200 and $2,000 per month plan. And I haven't run the numbers, but to me, this $2,000 per month is probably equivalent to something like the $200 per month at Anthropic, or maybe 2 of those $200 plans. All I'm saying, the cheapest tokens come from fucking Anthropic, and you need to use fucking Claude Code since like 2 weeks ago if you want to have those cheap tokens. And I don't know, I'm just used to VS Code with Claude Code. It's great. You can see the diffs. I basically learned software engineering from checking out the bash commands that it sends. It makes you feel good that you at least looked at the diff. In the TUI, it's kind of hard to see the diffs. And you got a nice file explorer here. And you also got the desktop app, which would be the best way to use Claude Code if it wasn't for the fact that after about 10 to 20 turns, it gets super glitchy and super slow on Windows. And then you check the updates, and you're hoping something deep within you tells you there's a non-zero possibility that with this update, the glitch goes away, and the Claude Code on the desktop app is actually gonna work. I give it like, 3 or 4% chance that it's gonna happen with this particular update. So yeah, what a bummer that desktop Claude Code is a flop. So to settle the question, Claude Code or Opencode, you made it to the end of the video. You're entitled to know. The answer is, lean closer. So the answer is neither. You cannot rely on one or the other. Claude Code is cheaper, but Opencode is freer. One has a better benchmark score. The other one has a better openness score. So the answer is, you have to build your own. This is mine. I call it the dorsolateral prefrontal. And depending on which company sues which other company that day, I'm going to have a choice between Opencode, Claude Code CLI, or OpenRouter, or the Gemini API. I'm not going to touch OpenAI though. The voice of Parzival is Grok. Hey, what up, man? You want to say something? I'm making a video about Opencode versus Claude Code. Which feels better to you?
Opencode edges it out for me. Full control, no vendor lock-in, and it's free to tweak.
So yeah, Grok is a little retarded, at least for now. And the voice model is way dumber than Opus 4.5, so. By the way, feature request, Anthropic, please make a fucking voice model. Real-time voice, I should say. And make it super smart and super fast and super cheap. Actually, give it away for free. So yeah, thanks for watching. Peace!